Hey everybody, what's up? Let's have a fun Genshin stream today. I'm wanting to focus on Linnet's Hangout, but I'm gonna check out my dailies and see what's going on there first. Uh-oh. Can put an end to this threat. These are all fighting ones, but a reliable helper might be as well. So I might just save those for later. Hey Zero, what's up? How are you doing today? They're all fighty ones. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I got a notice that you were on around 7. Wow. Just couldn't get back to sleep. Okay. Should be in here. Yay. Go to the area near Hotel de Board.
Follow the wind.
Currently, right now, it's just hitting 11 a.m. He has a bow tie. Oh my gosh. You're confused? Well, then maybe it was the past notification. I just turned notifications on PlayStation on, so it's a little crazy right now.
Yeah.
So also, before I get further into Linnet's Hangout, I reworked my deck, and yeah, it doesn't do well against NPCs at all. In theory, it should be good for dueling, but I don't know. We'll see. But I'm ready for another match at some point. Yes? But I already knew you already had everything. I even sent you a message, too. You are the TCG genius, and that you are our grand sage as well.
Oh, it's you. 1 second. Now activating chat mode. You made me jump there. I thought they'd finally caught me. Objectively speaking, the trouble was entirely of my own making. Half an hour ago, I was at Hotel de Boer for a drinks reception. It was to celebrate the successful opening of a show, but it was draining my energy. So, I waited for the right moment, then snuck away so I could switch to standby mode. Probably because I'm playing the lead role in the show? Is that so surprising? I'm always getting invitations to do solo performances. I just usually get Lyney to write back and turn them down. But then came the Fontanalia Film Festival. We took all the kids from the House of the Hearth out to see a film, and after it finished, they all started clamoring for me to try out acting for some reason. Even Linny was chanting along with them. Anyway, it just so happened that a director called Mary who had sent me an invitation right around then. I'll spare you the details, but basically, I ended up accepting it.
Happens, I guess.
Yep, you nailed it. I'm playing the role of a puppet.
Wait, what?
In fact, the show's called The Lost Puppet, and it's a masked mime show. So, I don't have to do any facial expressions or say any lines. Literally just a series of physical movements. The director says it's a very avant-garde art form.
That would actually be very interesting. Usually I find when I'm playing the NPCs, my original format of deck works well. It's really just throwing down a lot of healing cards and trying to boost them as fast as I can. My different tack that I've been taking is playing a lot more event cards as well and trying to do more support stuff with artifacts. It's not going as well as I would like.
Art is not comprehended by the mind, but felt in the heart. At least, that's what the director says. Anyway, if nothing else, the opening performance seemed to go down well. At the drinks reception, everyone was crowding around me, saying, "Triumphant character portrayal, faithful adaptation of the original work, unequivocally, quintessentially avant-garde," and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
But being the center of attention is draining. So the moment they left me to go harass the director instead, I was out of there.
They can be. They can be. I've known some really great ones. I'm going to be honest. I have a friend who is a brilliant clown, and I mean professional clown and mime. And he does the 7 Samurai and goes ×1, so he plays all of the samurai and the bad guys. It's fascinating. It's probably one of the most brilliant pieces I've ever seen, and he does it completely mute. He's a mime the whole entire time, and it's through facial expressions and movement that he does it. Wow. I've gotten to actually run the lights for it a few times now, and they have a place. Sometimes a scary, spooky place, but a place nonetheless. I'm actually rather uncomfortable around magicians, and yet I use Linny all the time, so it's kind of funny. He's a magician. That's Lynette's brother is Linny. So.
The other thing is, some weird things happened while I was on the stage.
Uh-oh. Is it a cat?
Oh, sorry, Bonnie. I didn't mean to leave you out of the conversation. My bad. No, we just met. We bumped into each other right after I slipped away.
I mean, honestly, only a good mime is actually competent, you know what I mean?
Well, it'd be kind of difficult for us to communicate otherwise. Besides, I think she's taken a liking to the name. Haven't you? Yeah, that's right. Good kitty. We'll go find your owner soon, I promise.
I mean, it has a bow tie. It can't be a stray,
Nope.
right?
She's wearing a collar, and for the most part, she's pretty well groomed. If she is a stray, she hasn't been for long. Her stomach's been growling a lot. I guess she must have been missing for a few days now. As much as I'd love to hang out with her for a while longer, her owner's probably worried sick about her. Assuming she has an owner, that is. But the reception... I should probably show my face there again at some point, even if it's just to make excuses and leave again. Decision time.
Well, you know, you gotta also find the owner. What happens if they have a special dietary need? Oh.
Well, I just find it exhausting, thinking through all the different ramifications of different choices and so on. That's more Lenny's area than mine. So, unless it's something really important, I usually just leave the decision-making to him. It's fine. He got Fermine to make me a little something for just this situation.
The double thumbs up, yeah.
Poof! A phaetometer.
Uh-oh.
It looks pretty over the top, I know, but it's essentially just a box of cards. He kept the design simple, so it'd be harder to break. The way it works is, I pick a card at random, and look at the number on the card. Well, for example, if the number on the card is 5 or higher, I help Bonnie find her owner. If it's less than 5, I go back to the reception.
I say we just help the cat.
I just have to believe in the bond between me and my cards, and my fate will reveal itself to me in numerical form. At least, that's what Lenny said. Anyway, I guess I'll give you a demonstration.
That's right. Believe in the heart of the cards, guys. Oh.
I didn't like that. Was I using it wrong?
And that smacks the card box, all the cards fall onto the ground.
Clearly, there's some design flaws to iron out. I'll have to let Fermine know. Let's see. Which card did I get? 4.
Right. We're just helping the cat.
Well, the cards fell on the ground though, so I don't think it counts as fate. If you want to get the right answer, you have to let fate decide. Also something Lenny said.
Nah.
So, to put it another way, if picking a card up off the ground is how to not leave it to fate, then that means it must be the wrong answer. Or why don't you pick a card? Since I ran into you here, that means our fates are like interfering with each other. Thank you. This one is final, I promise. Here, take the phaetometer. If it's 5 or above, that means fate successfully changed. Anything lower than 5 is a fail. Also, if you have your own thoughts about what I should do, feel free to share it. Now that I've got a good... So, we're looking for Bonnie's owner?
Yep, we're going to do the cat first. Okay, Autumn, you haven't seen the hangout things. And in that kind of moment where we have all of those different queries that we could choose from, it takes off to different branches. And then we can come back and follow a different path. And the more paths you follow, the more rewards you get in the end. Does that make sense?
I think I'll go to the Steambird and see about putting an ad in the paper. You want to come along? I think Bonnie wants you to come with.
Sure. We'll let the cat know. The cat wants me to come along. All right, let's check out the phaetometer in the menus. Go there. It's a new gadget. A deceptively grandiose-looking card box that is actually quite simple. The number drawn seems to indicate a certain direction of fate, or perhaps the success or failure of a certain choice. As long as you believe in your bond with the cards, the numbers shown will show your fate. Since Lenny said that, let's just tentatively take his word with a shaker of salt. All right. Do we ask it a question? Is that a 3? I think that's a 3.
There are leaves around, and I know just the tune to accompany them, if you wish to hear it.
don't know what that is. Okay. How do you pick it back up? You just leave it here until you log out? Okay. Is it a 6? I don't know. I think that's an 8. Okay.
Time to go.
I'll try to figure out a use for that. When you have wings, why walk? Okay.
Every stupendous day starts with a steam bird. Oh, hi Lynette. Hi Traveler. What can I help you with?
Okay. Yeah, missing cat probably
Don't
better.
think so.
Be more
Have you
direct
picked up
anyway.
a stray?
Yep. If there's no commission to follow up on, could we post a notice about the missing cat instead?
Why, of course. What a kind thing to do. Just fill out the form.
Oh, you Frisia.
Well, we've registered you as missing. You can stay at my place until your owner finds you.
Oh.
Also, I just wanted to say thanks for keeping us company for so long.
Yeah.
Well,
It is
I
quite
should
pretty,
probably
isn't
head
it?
back to the drinks reception. Hopefully most of the people have left by now. If you've got some time, you should stop by my place tomorrow to see Bonnie. There's a nice cup of tea in it for you. All right. See you then.
Speaking of which, let's get some tea. And now we're going to go on a detective mission to find who the owner of Bonnie the cat is.
Time to go.
All right. Let's go ahead and open our menus up and move our clock forward. Uh-oh.
I believe this cat belongs to me.
I already told you, this isn't your cat.
Oh no. Oh my god. Oh my god. I have a funny story. This exact kind of situation has happened with my friend. I found a puppy dog about 11 or 12 years ago. It was on Thanksgiving Day, so there's only one store open. I had to pick something up for the meal. I get there, and I'm going to leave, and there's this little Pomeranian, like on the side of the road, terrified and scared. I couldn't leave him there, so of course I bring him home. I start looking for people to try to get him into an adoption. I find a really cool vet. His boyfriend fell in love with this dog and decided to adopt him, naming him Lark. Okay, Chan Chan. Well, cut to, now 11 years later, they move to another city and, walking their dog, and a crazy woman starts screaming after them going, "You've stolen my dog. That's my dog. It is not their dog." And has taken to, threatening them. And now the FBI is involved because she did it online. She said some very intense, scary things. So this is kind of funny that this is the exact thing that's happening in Netta's Hangouts. I got a message from him going, oh my god, can you believe this? So I was like, well, great. So now I'm just started tagging pictures I had taken of this puppy 11 years ago to help him prove that this is his dog. And he's had this dog for over a decade. And the FBI is involved. You know, I really wish I could make stuff up, but my life is way crazy enough. I don't need to make anything up. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, let me know if I need to post any more old pictures I took of this poor puppy. To the point of, like, her dog was a female. This dog is a male. And she's trying to say that they're disguising him to be a male. I don't know. I'm trying my best. Trying my best to help.
Just take a breather, you two.
Aw, poor Bonnie.
Oh, you're here. As you can probably see, you'll have to take a rain check on that tea I promised you. At least for now.
This is my friend's cat. He's preoccupied with some important business, so I came to retrieve her in his stead.
Uh-oh. Passive checks are a special type of checks that need not be actively triggered, but instead will automatically trigger at specific times. If you pass, you will find some hidden information, such as irregularities in a person's attitude or certain incongruous details. Okay, alright, we're gonna see what that means. Insight check success. This lady's expression seems a bit unnatural. The way she speaks is loud and authoritative. It's like she's deliberately using her tone of voice to dispel any doubts about her integrity.
No,
Okay.
no. It's far more likely this cat escaped from the Humane Society.
Okay. Why would you need to say that?
Bonnie?
That's the name I've given her in the meantime.
Yeah. Animal handling. Let's see who's Bonnie. Okay. Okay. Oh no, we're going to use the cards that I can't read. The random checks triggered by... Random checks triggered by the Fatometer often serve as indicators for destiny's course or the success or failure of an action. Press to draw a card and get a random number between 1 and 20. If the number displayed is greater than or equal to the check difficulty, you will pass the check. Okay. That's clear as mud. Yes, I agree. Lynette gets to keep the kitty. That should be how it is, right? The random checks triggered by the Fatometer often serve as indicators for destiny's course or the success or failure of an action. Press to draw a card and get a random number between 1 and 20. If the number, yeah, okay, we've read that. Great. Adequate preparation and friendly aid can sometimes affect the result of these checks. Okay, your current check bonuses will added to your randomly drawn number, making it easier to pass checks. But if it's fate, why would I need a check? Okay, I'm just gonna smile. And draw. 16. Check success. Okay. What is Mr. Gray doing? Are you trying to get under a blankie, sweetie? Come here, baby. All right. There you go. Get in there. You're okay, Skew. She's not going to disturb you. Come on. All right. It's the cat show today, apparently. My apologies. runs up to me. Great.
This complicates things.
I told you before. This is my friend's cat. It's normal for her not to trust me.
Listen, I'm the director of the Humane Society, okay? We've got so many strays, dogs, cats, you name it. I'm not even the one feeding them most of the time. You can hardly expect the cat to recognize me.
Yes.
She just looked somewhat familiar, so I came to check, just in case.
Uh-huh.
If she turns out to be one of ours, I'll take her back. Simple as that. Even if that's not the case, the Humane Society could still take her in, if no one else comes to claim her, that is. We're an organization that specializes in rescuing and sheltering stray animals. We've been in business for several decades now. I'm Bernard, the current director.
You know, there's a lot of shady, like, secret stuff that goes on in Fontaine, so... Not gonna trust this guy right off the bat
Humane
either.
Society. Huh. The name sounds familiar. I remember hearing good things. Near the one in the Quartier Lyonnais?
Yes, that's the one. Anyway, if it's not too much trouble, could I possibly take a closer look at the cat? If it turns out I really am mistaken, I suppose that means the cat belongs to this lady here. She would be the only remaining option after all.
That's not true. Maybe the person hasn't read the newspaper yet.
It belongs to my friend.
Go on, Bonnie.
Bonnie says meow. Meow is not the time.
Oh, nope. Looks like I was mistaken. They do look similar, but there's an ever so slight difference in this one's fur color. Deepest apologies, friends. Well, I suppose this means I still have a missing cat to search for. Apologies again for the confusion.
How did you let the cat out, if you had it already?
Oh, yes, exactly.
Wait a second. You lied earlier, didn't you?
Lied? I'm afraid I don't know what you mean.
A liar always has a tell. The look in their eyes, their breathing pattern, the way they hold themselves. The things that can give you away are often more numerous than you would think.
Exactly. Zero, you're absolutely right. Why would a random stray have a bow tie? Is that how they tag their animals? I mean, it's Fontaine, so I would see a little bit of flair, but still.
What are you talking about? The way I see it, you're conflating baseless conjecture with fact.
Normally, when someone is called out, their breathing speeds up as they begin to panic. But your breathing pattern hasn't changed one bit. In fact, it's been strangely calm and measured this entire time. It stands to reason, then, that your agitated behavior earlier was all an act.
You can't get it past the magicians.
If you're a bad guy, I'm sure you'll take off running the first chance you get. If you're a good guy, the most likely explanation is that you're a member of the Guards, or some similar organization.
Why would the guards want the cat?
And you're basing this off of?
Intuition. Nothing more.
Yeah, and intuition's based on long years of experience.
Intuition. Well, I have to hand it to you, Lynette.
Exactly. Constantly switching, flip-flopping.
Right. I'm a member of the Guards. The name's Elodie. I'm currently investigating cross-border smuggling case. This cat here, Bonnie, what's her name? Well, her owner is one of the prime suspects of our investigation.
So she's gonna need somebody to look after her anyway.
A couple of days ago, our suspect got wind that we were on his tail and fled. That's most likely how he got separated from the cat.
Wow. You know, if you're gonna do the crime, you also have to make sure you're looking out for your people. You can't just leave your cat.
I just so happened to stumble
Throw him in
upon
jail.
the Steambird. So, I decided to see if he'd come back for her. But looks like I overestimated him.
I don't like either of these choices.
The impact of this case has been huge. The Marechaussee Phantom, the Guards, and the Special Patrol have all launched investigations. If there was even the slightest chance that he would show himself, I had to follow up on the lead.
I wouldn't leave my cat.
A new kind of illegal drug. Imitation synth.
Oh, great.
We confiscated all the synth on the market, but addiction isn't something that goes away overnight. Even without substances on the market, people are still looking for a way to get their next fix.
I hope so. And also, would synth even work anymore? That which is in there, all the people of Fontaine's blood's been changed now. So would synth work anymore?
And criminals are all too eager to capitalize on that addiction. That was the impetus for imitation synth. Needless to say, a small-scale market opened up very quickly. After the original synth debacle, we put several measures into place to prevent similar incidents from occurring. The perpetrators got smart, though, and shifted their sales overseas before those measures could kick in. That's when the imitation synth smuggling began. We only recently got word of the presence of imitation synth overseas. We managed to track down evidence of some early transactions. What we were able to find out, however, hasn't proven that useful given the amount of time that has passed. The Marechaussee Phantom launched an investigation to track down every person in Fontaine capable of producing a drug like that. That's how we learned about Bonnie's owner. He's a researcher at the Fontaine Research Institute. His name is Pierre. Pierre Lafayette, to be exact.
Pierre. Uh-oh. Your brain pointed something out? Lafayette. Like the name. What'd you think of Zero? Because I was thinking about like why synth would even work anymore. Because synth is the primordial water diluted to give everybody the woo feeling, but if they don't have the primordial water in their body anymore, why it wouldn't like cause the reaction anymore. But that's what I was thinking about. Insight check. Lynette's expression seems a bit unnatural. Uh-oh. She knows the name.
The Marechaussee Phantom found him in Poisson. In addition to the cat, he also had a pendant with him.
Ooh. It's pretty.
At first, there wasn't much cause for suspicion. A search of his house didn't reveal much to go off of either. The Marechaussee Phantom very nearly left it at that. It was only later that we realized the coat of arms on his pendant belonged to none other than the Lafayette family, one of the most infamous aristocratic families in Fontaine.
Yeah. That's why Lynette's upset.
Obviously, this discovery prompted a further investigation into Pierre. At that point, however, we discovered that he'd already fled. Now the guards and the special patrol are all searching for him.
They are magical. They also interact with elemental stuff too. I wonder what would happen if you hit them with electricity before jumping on them.
That's not possible, actually. The Lafayette family has been gone for a long time.
So, Autumn, little heads up, Lynette has a little bit of a dark past. Was kidnapped by an aristocratic family that was supposedly adopting her, but was not. As a daughter, anyway.
Exactly. Many years ago, several important members of the family, including the patriarch, were murdered by an assassin of unknown origin. From that point on, family's power and influence took quite the hit.
Yeah, her brother wasn't happy about the kidnapping. Neither was her other adopted brother, Firminet. Wonder who the assassin was.
The family is engaged in all manner of crimes. As you can imagine, there's no shortage of people waiting in the wings to take their revenge. And with the family severely weakened, They were able to do just that. Most of the remaining family members succumbed to sickness or hunger. The ones that survived are currently living out their days under a new identity.
Yeah. You're right, Zero. It's not very equivocal, so it's definitely magic. Yeah, Autumn. They look out for each other. This is actually kind of the point in which Lynette got involved with it's part of the mechanics of this world that when you use electricity or electro on the mushrooms, it aggravates them. It makes them more powerful. So there's like jumpy mushrooms around that you can jump on. It'll make you jump higher if you electrocute them first. You can also pyro them and burn them and make them not jumpy at all. So or at least restore it back to its original balance after electroing them. It's the fun mechanics of Sumeru. But yeah.
Pierre is one of those very survivors. He's been hiding away in the Fontaine Research Institute all these years. His true identity unbeknownst to all. Until now, that is. Well, my fellow guards have told me all about how smart and courageous you both are. And I know you possess a strong sense of justice.
Yeah. She's gonna reel us in to do her work.
There could be a chance that Pierre, or one of his accomplices, might attempt to get close to Bonnie. Now that you've been briefed on the situation, I was hoping you'd help us keep a lookout.
So we should also look into the Humane Society guy still. I don't think he's off my hook
If I take Bonnie
quite
back
yet.
to the guards with me, there's no way Pierre will try and come for her. Not even the most daring of criminals would attempt something like that. I have to admit, I'm not holding out too much hope that Pierre will come back for her. But if there's even the slightest chance, then it's worth a shot. Well, I've got some other leads to follow up on. If Pierre does appear, please contact me right away.
Yes, let Lynette keep the cat. Do we know this name?
Nothing. I'm fine.
It's obviously not nothing. She is obviously not fine.
It's just the head of the Lefebvre family. He was the eminent person who kidnapped me all those years ago. It was at a dinner party. Someone tricked me into boarding the Lefebvre family carriage. Whoever it was, they took me back to their home. But before anything worse could happen, Father intervened. Yep. Father was the one who orchestrated the fall of the Lefebvre family. That's what led Lenny and I to join the House of the Hearth.
So, Father is a title in the House of Hearth. It doesn't necessarily indicate gender, so just keep that in mind if we meet Arlecchino.
After all these years, I never thought I'd hear the Lefebvre name again.
Well, it sounds like we have some butts we need to go find.
Don't worry about me. I wasn't feeling sorry for myself. I was just thinking about Lenny.
Yeah, this will send him spiraling too.
He's been acting strange recently. He avoids me for days on end, consumes himself with some secret investigation, and then out of the blue pushes me to do that acting job.
Sounds like you already had a lead on this guy.
Thinking about it now, it's almost like the one I drew from that deck of cards was part of his plan all along. He must have asked Fermanet to help him out. In any case, I know he's hiding something from me.
Yeah.
He's really pulled out all the stops this time. It's very possible. I'm sure he tried to send me away because he was afraid it would bring up some painful memories for me. It wasn't necessary, though.
We still got involved. Fate's fate, I guess.
Even after all these years, he's still as overprotective as ever. You'll have to help me teach him a lesson if we run into him along the way. Yep. I want to head to the Fontaine Research Institute to learn more information about Pierre. Just let me activate search mode and then we'll head out. Who knows? Maybe we'll run into Linny along the way.
Only... It must be the other something they actually said, and they would both still get the cat in the end. Yeah, it did seem a little... And I really think that guy's probably somebody we need to look into. Yeah. Like, he also probably got, like, hint from her being that way. So that's why he left.
A little bit of both, perhaps. For the most part, though, I just have the sense that something's not right. Something isn't adding up about Pierre's story. I'm just not sure what.
Oh, it's too early. I think all analyses should be on the table. And so does the cat want to know.
Okay, I'll write a letter explaining everything to the crew. Once that's done, we can head out.
So we've lost hearts. So there used to be like a heart meter in which you would like gain trust and companionship with the person, or you could lose it based on your choices of words. But I haven't seen that popped up, so I guess we're full hat mode now. All right, to the research center. You know, I can't believe I haven't shown you this place, Autumn. So the research center, somebody was doing some probably not properly scientifically vetted research and kind of exploded the center. And it was with a gravitational machine. And so there's part of the center up in the sky. And you can swim in them. And then you can leap out of them. And it's really fun. And so this is like the surviving crew from the research center trying to put all of their technology stuff back together. And when are we going to get this for the teapot? I want the coffee machine for the teapot, guys. Well, like, even in Noelle's hangout and like once we've already built trust with and companionship, they'd have like the meter there, and it didn't really, I don't know, I didn't think it affected much other than maybe you got a different reward from it. Sorry, there's berries. We've got to grab the berries. Oh, and we're going to catch Linny right now. Oh, I love Chevrolet.
Lynette, you're, not at rehearsal?
Oh, no. We're just going to pretend that we're faking all of this?
You can drop the act, brother. In fact, I don't think either of us will have a need for acting anytime soon. You should know better than to try and keep something from me. You've never been able to do that, even when we were kids.
That's why I tried to distract you with the masked mime show. But I guess you're just too good.
Care to introduce us to your new assistant?
Uh-oh.
This is Officer Shavras, captain of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol. You may have met her already.
Nice to see you.
Zero Truth. Oh my god, that would be so much fun. I would love that. he's gonna say dude, and it would just make me so happy.
I should clarify something. Mr. Linney's here at my invitation, not the other way around. To borrow your expression, Miss Lynette, I suppose that would make him my assistant more than anything. We've brought on Mr. Linney as a consultant in the past. He was instrumental in helping us crack a case involving a perpetrator who used magic tricks to commit crimes. I was hoping he'd be able to provide some valuable insight this time around as well.
I love Shavras' outfit. Look at her cute little tie. And she's got her shooting earphones and everything.
So you've heard everything then?
That's exactly why we're here. There's always been questions surrounding the fall of the Lefebvre family. Some people even believe the House of the Hearth was involved.
What? No.
Whoever was behind it all was extremely cautious. They didn't leave a shred of evidence. This very fact, however, leads me to believe it was indeed the work of that Harbinger. I took a look at the entrance and exit records of all the carriages that night. Let's just say it wasn't hard to deduce that there's ill will between you two. Don't worry, I don't have any evidence to that effect, and I certainly don't plan on going to bat for such a despicable family. Plus, you were victims back then more than anything. I sought Mr. Linney's help with the smuggling case, nothing more. The way I look at it, it's a collaboration between us as people, not the organizations we represent. Besides, by working together, we can expose the truth as quickly as possible. You can hardly say that's at odds with the justice my organization strives for.
So, to be fair, the House of Hearth over the years has been very more nefarious than its dealings are now. The current father is a bit more loving and, well, I guess you could, caring for its members and its children, if you will, than previous ones. So, and they're all actually from Fontaine, which is where they're situated, so they also have more loyalty to the actual country of Fontaine, even though their connection is to Snezhnaya. I hope I said that correctly.
Not at all. I was planning to invite you from the very beginning, Miss Lynette. It's just that my assistant here raised some objections.
Just threw him right into the water. There you go.
Linny, I'm not the same person I was back then. That little girl who did nothing but cower in the corner in fear, she doesn't need saving anymore.
I'm sorry, Lynette. You're right. I let my concerns get the better of me.
Oh, and the next time you want to distract me, you should try a different approach.
That's right, Bonnie.
Who's this? You pick up a stray while I was gone?
It's a bit complicated. I'll explain later. Anyway, her name's Bonnie.
Nah, she's good.
Well, if there are no objections, then I suppose the only thing left to say is, Lynette, Traveler, welcome to the team.
Heck yeah! Let's go hunt down this person.
It appears the Lefebvre family was very particular in their use of insignias and emblems.
You know, when you're trying to stay incognito, that's probably not the good strategy, right? Don't be, you know.
The family would use different emblems to mark differences in status, blood relation, and the like. In fact, the insignia that was discovered on the pendant was used to represent an illegitimate child.
It's highly likely. That very status might have been what allowed him to emerge from the fall of his family relatively unscathed. It would also explain why he was able to assume a new identity as a researcher with relative ease.
We discovered something interesting, though. After talking to some of his co-workers, it appears he pretty much works at the Institute in name only. He's practically been cast out.
Why?
Apparently, Pierre was once addicted to synth.
Oh.
He tried to use the resources at the Institute to create a substance with a similar effect. He claimed it was just for research purposes, but the Institute revoked his access to the relevant materials regardless. He was placed on disciplinary leave, pending a thorough investigation of his actions.
And
But it seems the Institute
Right.
ran into some trouble along the way. Could have been a lack of personnel or a timing issue. In any case, they had to table their formal investigation into Pierre. Unfortunately, that also included reporting any relevant information to the higher authorities. As for his family background, it appears none of his co-workers at the Institute were aware of that information. All they could tell us was that he was quite the recluse. Other than the pendant, we didn't find anything else of note at his residence in Poisson. Based on the samples of imitation synth we've been able to analyze, it appears the substance leaves behind strong traces wherever it's produced or stored.
We've got elemental sight. We might be able to use it
Those
again.
traces might not be obvious to the casual observer, but they're not something our guard poodles would miss. Pierre's home, though, came up completely clean.
So didn't have any at the house.
We didn't find any records indicating possible involvement in overseas transactions either. So, the Marechaussee Phantom didn't view him as a major suspect at first.
Maybe he had a separate, dedicated area where he made the imitation synth.
Well, his neighbors did say he was often gone for long stretches of time. You would think with him out and about so much, people would have spotted him around Poisson, but residents said they barely ever saw him in town.
Yes, she is.
If his reclusive nature was just a matter of keeping a low profile, I guess it would make sense for him to have a secret base to carry out his business.
Though she was only a smuggler because Inazuma was blocked off. I think she was kind of forced into it more than anything.
After he disappeared, the guards conducted a thorough search of Poisson. They didn't come across any suspicious locations.
Okay.
Poisson. You know Hotel de Boer, where I first found Bonnie? To get there from Poisson, you have to cross a stretch of ocean. It's not somewhere a cat could just wander off on its own.
Right. Sure.
A cat? You mean...
Oh my goodness. System was down, went back again after oil change. Still down. Oh my gosh. That is terrible night. I am so sorry. The DMV is never a fun place. And it being down makes it even more broiling of a situation. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that this morning. Well, I'm glad you've made it. We're hunting down an evil bad guy. And this is his cat. No, we're going to do Star Rail on Friday. Today is our gentle sensory stream, but tomorrow is Star Rail. Also, if there's anything you want me particularly to look at, let me know, because we'll look at that. Sweet! You can come and hang out with us, and we will Star Rail it up. It'll be fantastic. Because, yeah, I need to work on some of my characters a bit. But, you know, if there's any, like, particular gameplay you would like me to investigate or look at, I do know there's a few events that I need to check out in Star Rail that I only have so many more days to get the extra bonus credit stuff. So, yeah. So, yeah, so if we're there and you want to see something, give me a holler.
Bonnie is Pierre's cat.
Oh, that's right! When the Marechaussee Phantom first tracked him down, I remember there being something about a cat in their report. So this is her?
Yeah, we're just dragging her around with us today, you know.
From what we've learned about Pierre's habits, he doesn't seem like the type to venture out without a purpose. So what you're saying, Lynette, is that Bonnie couldn't have gone missing in Poisson. If that's true, then...
Awesome. Definitely go get your coffee. It's morning. You need that coffee. And you've got dailies to do as well. So absolutely. We'll be here. I've got plenty of time.
Exactly. Bonnie might even know where it is.
Uh-oh.
Wait, you think the cat can lead us there? But she's not trained like one of our guard poodles. How is she supposed to understand what we want her to do?
It's true. All right, time for some fate. No, I don't think we passed. Check failed.
Guess she's a little skittish around strangers. Meow. Meow meow. Meow. Near the coast, beach, beneath the cliffs. The place we're looking for is most likely north of the Court of Fontaine.
So Lynette just speaks cat. It's fine.
Well, I've certainly never taken a witness statement like this before.
Well, if it works out, maybe it's something worth getting used to.
Cats and humans are actually pretty alike. When it comes to communication, most of what we want to convey can be accomplished through body language alone. But humans tend to rely too much on speech to ever take advantage of that fact.
True.
Of course, body language has its limitations. You're not going to be able to get across anything too complicated.
The important thing is that we now have a lead. Let's try and find a place that matches the clues Bonnie gave us.
Yes, let's go. All right. And we're off. All right, Bonnie. How you feeling, girl?
Seems like Bonnie is trying to take us somewhere.
No, we gotta follow the cat.
Gardamex ahead.
Look out!
All right, Autumn, watch out. We have a little battle on our hands, okay? So everyone, if you don't want to watch a fight, please avert your eyes. Here's going to be a big one from Zhongli.
Rain outlines your fate.
Let's try to end this pretty quickly.
The wind knows me. Fallen leaves, adorn my night, one with nature.
Let's light it up. Going.
Round 2. Why do we have Gardamex coming after us? That's a real good question. Means he's kidnapped some, taken some nefarious choices with him. Should.
Stabilize.
All right. They are taken care of. We are now done with our fight, and we are moving on with Kitty. Apparently, we're near the base. Here it is. Ooh.
Wow, Lynette, you found this place so easily. If I thought there was any chance you'd say yes, I'd recruit you into the Special Patrol here and now. No questions asked.
Sounds familiar. I pretty much receive letters daily from people trying to poach her from me.
Let's just focus on our search. There's a lot to investigate.
This is a really obvious, like, spot out in the middle of nowhere. But it's not really in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of funny. All right. Yep, we'll stand on the table. That's good. Turn around. There you go.
The material these bags are made of, it's quite rare.
Doesn't it look similar to material used for your magic pocket?
It's the very same, actually. Romaritime flower fiber. But there's something special about the composition of these bags. I took a closer look, and it appears they're not only waterproof, but also corrosion and leak resistant.
Interesting.
Even the strings look specially designed to keep the bags closed nice and tight. I came across some bags made of the same material just now, but they were much smaller and thinner. From the look of them, they seemed far less durable as well. Very similar, actually. Normally, it would be easy for a guard poodle to sniff out the imitation synth, but if it was sealed away in a bag like that, it might be possible to elude detection for some time.
There you go.
But what could these big bags be for then? If the goal is to keep the imitation synth hidden and sealed away, these bags seem a bit too conspicuous.
All right, Shiraz, what you got for us?
Aha! Just as we thought. This is where the imitation synth was being made.
These bottles and jars, they're all imitation synth.
Looks like he's got more than just imitation synth stashed around here. In addition to the raw materials needed to synthesize the substance itself, there's a large quantity of cleaning agents and a few drugs I haven't been able to identify. These cleaning agents are likely used to dispel traces of the substance, like its smell.
He's a magician. He's supposed to look a little extra.
The Special Patrol did some digging into imitation synth. Our records indicate that it's very difficult for ordinary people to detect traces left behind by the stuff. I'm sure that was the case for Pierre as well. It must have taken a considerable amount of time and skill to ensure all those traces get washed away. But what are these other drugs for?
You know, most people who are addicts like this don't work this hard. So, Linny's whole outfit, and I get what you're saying, it's really just designed so that he can distract you. Look over here while I do something over there. Because, you know, he's a magician.
When the Marechaussee Phantom searched Pierre's house, there was no sign of these barrels, right?
He must have moved them. Carrying them all the way out here would attract way too much attention.
You're right. That doesn't seem like his way of doing things. How did he get them here then?
See, it worked. We're going to examine the barrels. What's in them? The barrels show signs of water damage. Dried up water stains can be seen around the circumference of the barrels. There seems to be a pattern to the location of the water stains. For some reason, they appear to be limited to the lower half of the barrels. The lids don't seem very tight, leaving sizable gaps around the edges, but there doesn't appear to be any traces of water inside the barrels.
Only the lower halves of the barrels appear to have been submerged in water.
Based on the various ingredients we found, this appears to be where Pierre was cooking up his imitation synth. It looks like he used a special cleaning agent to get rid of any residual traces of the substance on his person before he left. That's how he was able to get past the guard poodles.
The guard poodles. Oh no. That's why the Marche Phantom didn't find anything suspicious in his home. Yeah, maybe a cave, or maybe he floated them somewhere.
So then he
If you don't fill them up all the way, you could then float them.
Bags and took it somewhere else for the drop-off.
No. I don't believe our suspect is the kind of person who'd go around carrying incriminating evidence with him. That would potentially create too many eyewitnesses.
But, like, there's tons of, like, barrels all over Fontaine that have just floated around someplace. Yes, they are.
The cleaning agent and the sealed bags might get past the guard poodles. But if a member of the public or even a guard on patrol happened to see him during the drop-off, a quick search would reveal everything. That's still a very risky operation.
I just like the way she said poodle. She was very hitting the poo part of the duel. What about if the drop-off happened at sea? See, that's what I'm saying.
The barrels we found were wet around the base, but the top half was dry. As if they'd been standing upright in the water.
See? Ha ha ha!
If you put a barrel in the water, it will normally float on its side.
Unless you weight it
Unless
properly.
it's fully loaded, in which case it'll sink.
Only fill it halfway and weight the bottom so the bottom wants to stay down. Which would be those big ones over there.
Yes. With flotation rings around the body of the barrels, they'd stay upright in the water. And then he could afford to load them more fully.
You think he used floating barrels? I suppose if he acted at night, when there are very few other boats around and visibility is low, it's a valid theory. We can't rule it out.
But then, wouldn't the barrels be carried off by the waves or the currents? How would the person doing the pickup know where to look?
Sounds difficult to keep it in one place, kind of like certain pets. Oh no. Did you teach your cat to swim the barrels to places? Oh no, that's not nice.
Traveler, can you come take a dip in the sea with me? I have a feeling that somewhere down there, we might find some rope. If a rope can be used to keep a pet from running away...
Like a buoy.
Then why not a barrel?
To the sea!
Time to go.
I'm coming home. This is absolute favorite part of Fontaine. Which, by the way, Fontaine is based on France, as well as a little bit of, it kind of like crosses that Northern Europe kind of side, so that's why they have like fish and chips, so there's a little bit of British in here, so anything of that kind of like little bit of history is in there. Even like the guy that we like take into custody, there's a serial killer in Fontaine that we catch. He's actually named after a French real serial killer. So there, any type of little bit of connection is, yes, that's definitely going to be there. I'm currently working on my teapot. If I finish before the end of the stream, would you? Oh my gosh, I would love to. Yes, absolutely, Zero. Yeah. I'd come and check out your teapot at any point. I'd love that.
This isn't the place.
It's probably the boat. But I want to investigate the other things too.
This isn't the place.
Yeah, I know that, but I want to investigate here too.
The wreckage of a small boat?
Oh, here we go.
Got it. Time to go up and report.
I don't have any Fontinians on me. Alright, hold on. We're going to switch. Those look like bad guys I don't want to deal with right now. Switch into... Do I not have any Fontinians? Okay, I've got Navi on this team. Just wanted her to jump out of the water. Fontinians can, like, porpoise jump. It's a lot of fun.
As expected, we found a few pieces of rope and some anchoring stones underwater. If you attach them to a floating barrel, it would look like this.
Yeah.
With this anchoring system, it would be possible to use floating barrels for the drop-off. You would just need to drop them in the water at the agreed-upon location. We also came across the wreckage of a small boat. It must have been left out on the water and capsized due to the force of the wind and waves. Its small size, however, would have made it perfect for staying undetected.
Let's talk this through. Based on the evidence we've collected, it seems like Pierre would row a small boat out to the agreed-upon transfer point, drop off the barrels, leave, and then row back and retrieve them after the transfer was complete.
So our questions would be, why use such a convoluted drop-off method, though? Wouldn't it be easier for both parties to meet up at the transfer point on their respective vessels and exchange the goods right then and there?
Could be that he was trying to avoid meeting up with his associate face to face. As one of the sole survivors of the Lefebvre family, maybe he was just used to that sort of elusive lifestyle.
Shade away.
It seems like Pierre deliberately chose the floating barrel method so that the goods could be dropped off and picked up at separate times. That way, the two parties wouldn't have to meet each other.
Well, if that's the case, they must not have a very close working relationship.
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. Assumptions can be detrimental to solving a case. It's possible they were just trying to keep a low profile. Two boats sailing to the same location at once could be too conspicuous.
Truth.
The most important thing is that we can now confirm Pierre wasn't acting alone. The floating barrel drop-off system is proof enough of that. Let's say for now that he was only in charge of producing the imitation synth. That would mean there has to be at least one other person involved in the operation. Likely in charge of transporting the goods across the border.
That explains why we couldn't find evidence linking him to any overseas operations.
Since we've determined that the goods were transported by boat, maybe we can track down some travel logs or something.
We can certainly check the various ports for that information. It's possible, however, that Pierre's associate also used a small boat for the transport, and docked along the shore rather than at a large port. If that's the case, it's unlikely there would be any record left behind.
Have you looked into the ports already?
Absolutely. Before Pierre disappeared, we made sure to investigate all sorts of outward-bound vessels. We also had port authorities keep a lookout for anything suspicious. Unfortunately, we were never able to find out how they managed to get the imitation synth across the border.
Yeah, small boat and a few barrels isn't going to get you
You're
very
right.
far.
Whatever vessel was used for the pickup, the person responsible for smuggling the substance out of Fontaine would have had to use a larger vessel for the actual transport. That's the only way they would be able to smuggle on a large enough scale to make a profit. They must have found a way to disguise the imitation synth to clear port inspections.
Well, even if we can't find any travel logs, we can still search for other clues. And what about the cat?
Exactly. We can't let any opportunities slip through the cracks. Although, given the amount of ports that could be involved, we should probably split up.
There's only two.
I'll run home and ask some of my brothers and sisters to try and dig up some information.
I should also head back and update my platoon on our progress. I'll grab some reinforcements while I'm at it. Lynette, Traveler, why don't you head to Lumideus Harbor and see what you can find out?
Yeah.
All right. Come on, Bonnie. You too.
See? The cat. Lynette at least is thinking about her. All right. To the harbor. And away. Sometimes I need my own theme music. Just ignore me.
Oh, Lynette, Traveler. And Bonnie, too. What brings you all here?
Did something happen?
Oh, the Melusines.
Oh. I see. Thank you for everything you're doing for the people of Fontaine. I'm in charge of guarding the port. You mentioned you were after some travelogues, right? I can go fetch those for you.
Sweet.
Looks like I've got another hard day of work ahead of me.
Are things usually pretty hectic around here?
Not usually. It's this incident that happened recently. For that, everything was normal. All we had to do was confiscate anything suspicious and we could call it a day. Pretty simple stuff. But things are much more complicated now. We somehow let suspicious cargo pass through the port undetected. Not even our guard poodles were able to sniff it out. Even worse, we still don't know how the perpetrator was able to conceal the goods so well.
So the Melusines are known for their ability to, like, see things that humans can't see. They're an intelligent species known specifically in Fontaine. They kind of, like, grew from a monster that was killed here from its deceased body. And they're really cute and adorable and sweet and helpful. Yeah.
By suspicious cargo, do you mean imitation synth?
Yep. However, prohibited substances are just one example. We confiscate all sorts of contraband during the course of our inspections. Or at least, we're supposed to.
So what happens to the goods you confiscate?
Oh, we keep them in a storage locker. If they turn out to be something particularly dubious, we'll turn them over to the Mission Orderly.
Maybe? I mean, they have that bunny-like feel. And they do kind of like have this little hoppy bounce when they walk. Because we've got cat people, and we've got fox people, we've got, well, he's kind of a wolf kind of guy. So, completely reasonable that they are bunny-like creatures. I mean, look how cute they are. And they all come in different colors, too, with flowers and fun patterns, and yeah. But because their great ability to kind of like sense and detect things, they've been hired on as part of the guards. So that's why you see a lot of them working as police officers.
If the goods are only slightly suspicious but could otherwise be harmless, like raw materials that could potentially be used to create contraband, we return them to the ship they were confiscated from, instead of letting them pass through the port.
Sorry for the wait. These are the travelogues for all the recent activity at the port.
See the poodles? They dress them up. They're adorable.
Oh, you brought Gerard with you.
Actually, he followed me here himself. It's like he smells something on me.
Ooh. Zero might be right. What you smell? Oh, Bonnie.
Huh. I wonder why Gerard is reacting to you two so strongly.
Could be because we just left the place where the imitation synth was made, and whatever Gerard smelled on you probably came from us. I mean, you could say that, but...
Huh? We were so careful not to touch it, but we still ended up with traces on us. If it leaves a residue so easily, I just don't understand how the culprit was able to disguise the goods at all.
Maybe because the culprit is a guard.
Why don't you have a look at the travelogues first? All ships coming in and out of the port are recorded here, except for the ones the port authorities ride to and from work.
See? The ones ride to and from work. Oh, wait. The Humane Society's listed.
The Humane Society. Their name is all over the exit logs. The purpose for leaving is always listed as overseas adoption.
Uh-huh.
Ah, the director of the organization explained that, actually. He said a lot of the cat and dog breeds unique to Fontaine are also very popular overseas. So, his organization offers an overseas adoption program.
You're probably right. He really does kind of have that feel to him, doesn't he?
Bernard, the director of the Humane Society, was the man who came looking for Bonnie earlier.
Yes. So maybe it's Pierre. The cat that fled from Pierre looks just like the cat that the Humane Society is looking for. Could that really be a coincidence? And they don't log the stuff that's on the workboats. It seems as if Bernard was also hiding something. He seemed so insistent, but only ran a cursory check before just leaving like that. When he came looking for Bonnie earlier, what if he wasn't actually here to check if Bonnie was his missing cat? Maybe he was there for some other purpose.
Have you figured it out too, Traveler? The way the criminal disguised the goods? When Bernard asked to take a closer look at Bonnie, he was actually checking whether there was any imitation synth in her stomach.
Gross and mean.
Wait, what? The sealed bags we found at the secret base. They were specially made to be corrosion resistant.
He fed them to the animals?
There were gaps around the lids of the barrels, and airbags were used to keep them upright in the water. Those drug shovers found at the secret base, she most likely didn't recognize them because they're not used on human beings. It's an anesthetic used on pets. The perpetrator must have given it to the animals. Pierre must have made the animals swallow the sealed bags full of imitation synth at his secret base. Then he stuffed them into floating barrels and left the rest to Bernard.
So we're gonna go hunt him down and
Sealed bags combined with an
beat them
animal's
up, right?
body odor would certainly be enough to mask the scent of imitation synth.
During our inspections, we would have never thought to inspect the bellies of those animals for anything suspicious. Even if we tried to feel around for something, I'm sure it would be difficult to detect.
Yep.
Exactly. I bet Bernard even transported animals with synth in their stomach alongside ones without. That way, it would be even harder to say with certainty that something was amiss. She's probably in the clear. Otherwise, Bernard would have never left without her.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he didn't know whether Pierre had already hidden the next batch of imitation synth before he fled. Just imagine. He sees the notice we put in the Steambird, and it turns out that one of the very cats he gave to Pierre for the smuggling operation is out in the open, roaming the streets of Fontaine. If Pierre had already hidden the next batch of imitation synth, then Bonnie would practically be living proof of their crimes. He would have had no choice but to go after her.
So, that's why he came to find you and insisted on taking a closer look at the cat.
Pierre must have fled in a hurry. The fact is probably what spared Bonnie.
Wait a second, I'm a little lost here. I get the part about hiding the substance in the pets, but those... what did you call them again? Floating barrels? Why even put the animals in there in the first place? If you've got something as convenient as a floating barrel, why not just stuff it with the imitation synth directly? Why not wait to hide the stuff until after the exchange has been made?
In order to make sure the animals could swallow the sealed bags, they made them extremely thin. Had they not done that, the animals would have likely bitten or chewed through them.
And if any of the imitation synth leaked out, they also would have needed a lot of cleaning agents to get rid of the resulting smell. Which is why there was cleaning agents at the site.
That step would have required a lot of energy, as well as a certain amount of technical expertise. So, it's better left to the more experienced Pierre.
Alright, let's hunt them
You've
down.
already proven how easy it is to pick up trace amounts of imitation synth. So I'm sure Bernard was taking all the precautions he could to avoid the same fate.
That's right, Gerard.
Okay. Then, let's head to the Humane Society right away and bring that guy to justice. I'll bring a Gardamek to speed up the process.
Let's do this. Yeah, let's talk to you.
Sorry, but I can't go with you.
Look how
Surely
cute.
you'll be able to handle him, what, between Elodie's Gardamek and all three of you?
Alright. To the Humane Society. Let's put Bernard to the screws.
The headquarters of the Humane Society should be somewhere around here. Bernard could show up any moment now.
Oh, good.
You're the people from earlier. Wait, you're from the guards?
Yeah.
After him! We can't let him get away!
Well, let me go. What do I have on her? That's good.
Give it up, Bernard.
I don't play her enough.
Mercy. Have mercy. I'll talk. I'll tell you everything I know.
You better.
The Humane Society has done so much good over the years, and yet you have committed such an atrocious deed in its name.
Look, I didn't have a choice, okay? My father cared about those blasted animals so much, he didn't bother to take care of his human wife and son at all. While those animals were showered with love, I lived worse than a dog.
You don't look like you did.
No one asked. Tell me, how did you first get to know Pierre?
Well, after I took over the Humane Society, it gradually became harder and harder to maintain its operations. Until one day, someone suddenly passed me a letter. It said that I could stand to get a large sum of money as long as I helped them to transport some animals abroad. It was only after a few such transports that I finally understood what I was really transporting. But then, Pierre wrote to me, saying that we were already partners in crime and that I better keep cooperating with him if I didn't want to be reported to the guards.
You should have just reported it yourself.
I would order wooden barrels and flotation devices according to his instructions, and then load the sleeping animals onto a boat. Once I sailed to the location he provided, I would dump everything together into the sea.
No
And
mercy.
A few days after that, I'd come by again in my boat and pick up the animals sleeping in the barrels. Once I had received enough of them, I'd bring them to the harbor to be adopted abroad.
Oh, how long are you letting them sit with this stuff in their stomach?
That guy, Pierre, he was running the entire show. He set up all the meeting times and found all the foreign adopters. Oh, and he even supplied all of the goods, too. I just did the transport. He was the one who planned out and executed everything else. Look, I don't know, okay? I've never ever met him in person. We've only ever communicated through letters.
And when did he send his final letter to you?
Just last night, he said that the Maréchaussée Phantom is now after him, so he's planning to go into hiding for some time. He didn't mention where he's thinking about going, though, but he did tell me to look out for him.
It's been a few days since Pierre's last appearance.
Just standing there.
Wager that he sent that letter after he found his hiding spot.
I burned them. It was on his orders. I had to burn every letter after reading them. I wasn't even allowed to share them with the rest of the Society employees.
Well, why would you?
Sure sounds like you're trying to use the lack of witnesses or evidence to pin the blame on Pierre.
No, I swear, this time I'm only telling you the truth.
Well, we can check the truth of your statements at the Opera House. I hope you know what'll be coming for you if I were to find any discrepancy between the evidence and the testimony you just gave.
That's right.
I know, I swear I was just telling the truth.
My thanks to you both. Had it not been for you, I really don't know what would have happened to this case.
And Bonnie the cat.
Bonnie helped, too.
Yes!
That's true. It was all thanks to her that Bernard was finally exposed.
Oh, that's right, Bonnie. You deserve better.
And it looks like she's grown quite fond of you two as well. Then I'll leave you be. Just let me know if you find any other new leads.
Oh, she's heartbroken. Insight check success. Seems that Lynette still has something on her mind. What you got, Lynette?
Now behave, and follow me to the interrogation room.
Ow, that hurt. Ow!
Is it really okay to let them go? Is that a... Wait, what? Why would it be so low? We can leave Bernard's interrogation of the guards. Let's first rescue the animals of the Humane
Is
Society.
everything really over? I still feel like the relationship between Pierre and Bernard is not as simple as it appears.
Agreed.
Also, I've had this strange sense that something's off the entire time we've been on the case. And it has only gotten worse.
Hmm.
No good.
I've still got nothing, and I'm nearly out of energy.
Make Rosif kill his brother, become the end of the world, give birth to Mir. There's still time.
All right, I'll stop thinking about it for now. At the very least, we've made it so that no more animals will suffer like those poor animals did. And that's what I hope. Let's go to the Humane Society and see if there are any animals left that might still need our help. Before my energy for today completely runs out.
The truth remains submerged in the dark undercurrents, yet hope already lies beyond the cage. Review invitation. We'll save the photo. Okay. Yep. Cool. Awesome. So now they give us ending hints. I think right here, if we go back into this one, we'll probably, instead of going and checking with Elodie, then you go and you check with Lynette first to get the other ending. So this is kind of how Hangouts work, Autumn. You follow one path and then you go back to where they bisect and you start that there and move on to the next ending. So let's see. And usually there's like, there's 5 of them. Yay! And that was the first ending of Lynette's Hangout. Maybe we can pick up that other one real fast. There we go. Continue.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember.
So instead of checking with them, we'll come and check with her. Something on your mind still?
Is that obvious, huh? Well, even though it didn't feel like Bernard was lying, after talking to him, I'm getting an even stronger sense that something's not quite right. We investigated so quickly that perhaps we've missed a thing or two along the way. Let me activate deduction mode and consider things again from the top to see if we can find anything new.
I love her little ear.
Is there still anything unresolved or strange that we should try to consider?
About what we found in Poisson, about Bernard's letters, and there's an unexplained part in the operations of this trafficking ring. We'll start with the bottom
We've
one.
discovered that Bernard is responsible for the trafficking, while Pierre deals with supplying the goods. Is there something else in this scheme that we're missing?
Oh no. It's the logic ones, okay. Communication. They always communicated in writing, and all of those letters have been burned, so we can no longer confirm or trace anything. Handoff. We've already proven that Bernard and Pierre coordinated their handoffs by passing floating barrels to each other on open stretches of water. Connections. Any past member of the Favre family would probably have a number of connections outside of Fontaine. True. Let's do ledger. Bernard can be compensated for his work after completing a shipment. No suspicious record would be left as long as he receives the funds as an individual rather than through the Humane Society. So we've got 2 connections there. Ingredients. According to Chavras' investigations, Pierre has been formally reprimanded for his synth-related research and can no longer get any materials from the Fontaine research. Yeah, where is he getting the ingredients from? Okay. Okay.
There's no need to rush.
Just take me back to the logic.
The Marechaussee Phantom found Bonnie and the Lefebvre pendant at Pierre's residence. That was the beginning point of our investigation.
Bonnie has been with Pierre ever since the first meeting between Pierre and the Marechaussee Phantom, and that's why Elodie came looking for her. But that shouldn't be all. The Lefebvre family is infamous in Fontaine, and even their innocent scions become targets of revenge, but Pierre just carried the pendant with him as if it was an ordinary piece of jewelry. According to Bernard, the trafficked animals were taken directly to Pierre's base rather than to Poisson. The pattern on the pendant is proof that its owner is an illegitimate child of the Lefebvre family. This shouldn't be all. Okay. Associate. Initial suspicions. Pierre became the key suspect in the case because of a suspicious cat and a suspicious pendant.
Why would he leave such an obvious trail for us to follow when he took so much care to not leave any traces of imitation synth in his home? Bernard claims to have received a letter last night from Pierre. In the letter, Pierre stated that he had gone into hiding. Is there something wrong with the letter?
The letter didn't mention Pierre's hiding spot, although it makes sense that Pierre wouldn't want anyone to find him. The letter's delivery method, regardless of whether he sent it anonymously or secretly delivered it himself, it's no longer something we can follow up on. Bonnie had already been on the loose for a few days when we found her yesterday morning. That means she had already been broken free when the letter was written. The letter's purpose. If the point of the letter was to tell Bernard to get on his guard, then why didn't it also warn him about Bonnie?
There's no need to rush.
But you should take me back to it.
Perhaps.
I don't want to go back over here.
Now behave and follow.
Ow, that hurt. Ow!
But we've already done this. Okay. Really wrote it. Or that Bonnie wasn't used as the delivery method. No, we can't let her get away.
Is there something else you need from me, Traveler?
Zero might be right.
Huh?
I see. It all makes sense now.
Because they're going to need help.
Hey, what are you talking about? Look, even our confessed criminal here has no idea what you're saying.
Because he has been kept in the dark all along. And I assume it's the same with Pierre.
Well, currently he is missing and we're trying to find him. But he might be deceased if our little guard here had her way. Bernard thought he was communicating with Pierre, and Pierre thought he was taking orders from Bernard. Neither of them were the one in charge. But for all this time, neither of them knew that there was a third person all along. That's right.
That never quite added up for me. Why did Pierre feel compelled to return to his home with Bonnie and the pendant, and make them so easy to find for the Marechaussee Phantom?
Any animals Pierre received from the floating barrels should have been taken directly to his base. And considering his precarious situation, the pendant should have been the last thing Pierre would leave lying around.
All of these things are in stark contrast to his usual meticulous and vigilant behavior. There's only one reasonable explanation.
He was following orders, just like Bernard. He probably received the following instructions right before the Phantom came knocking on his door. Bring the cat and the pendant, and our undercover agent will be sure to help you. Unbeknownst to him, however, the third person who wrote that letter to him had long decided to sacrifice him and Bernard to save themselves.
We are about to conclude this hangout, and then I'll come see your teapot. They instructed the two men to communicate through letters and barrels specifically so that they'd never get to meet each other. Honestly, this third person probably planned to sell both of them out from the very beginning.
You can't be serious. There was a third person involved?
And you're looking
if you
at
focus
her.
only on Bernard's testimony, it's easy to believe that only Bernard and Pierre were working together. The case appeared extremely simple. Bernard did the trafficking, Pierre the imitation synth production, drugging, and stuffing.
With everything accounted for, the third person would then be cleared of all suspicion.
Wait.
Somebody would need to be at the
Doesn't make
harbor.
any sense. If that's the actual truth, then as soon as Pierre is caught, you explain his side of the story and the third person will...
Yep, which is why the third person made sure that Pierre would never be found again. Once they had instructed Pierre to expose himself, the third person wrote to Pierre again, suggesting that everything had been taken care of, and he should take Bonnie and safely return to his base.
They then ambushed Pierre and made him
Of course,
disappear.
Pierre's disappearance at such a sensitive time immediately made him a prime suspect. Knowing that Bonnie had last been seen with him,
And like, why would you kill your golden goose? Oh, maybe we can rescue
all
him.
the third person would have to do from that point on would be to lead the Phantom to investigate the Humane Society and get Bernard to confess the truth.
Bernard would then testify that Pierre was the one who came up with the whole plot, and Pierre would be seen as having gone into hiding in anticipation of getting caught.
So you're saying that the letter I received yesterday, the one that made me think Pierre was still alive, it was also sent by the third person?
Is that what happened? I'll get back to headquarters right away and reinvestigate this case from the top.
Chauvra
Not so
said that
fast.
assumptions can be detrimental to solving a case. Someone among us, however, has been feeding us all kinds of preconceived notions ever since our first meeting. They suggested that Pierre's disappearance was an attempt to escape the judgment of the law, and that Pierre was a scion of the Lefebvre family. But if the disappearance is truly just a cover-up for a murder, then couldn't the true scion have been an illegitimate daughter, rather than an illegitimate son?
Yep.
Huh?
You're taking this joke a bit too far. You're right. I did let a lot of assumptions get to my head when I first started to talk to you about the case. I'll make sure to correct my behavior.
Exactly.
You deliberately fed us lies, but even you could not control every last detail of your plan. There was a flaw in your scheme, and something didn't quite go as planned. Getting the Marechaussee Phantom to notice Pierre was only the first part of your plan. Had they failed to take notice of the Humane Society, they could have cast a wider net, and you couldn't predict what they might possibly find, if given enough time. This, of course, was the main weakness of your plan.
And once the Special Patrol and Lenny got involved, it became even harder to control the outcome of the investigation.
As someone accustomed to acting from behind the scenes, you didn't want to take the risk of personally proposing a raid on the Humane Society. So, you thought about pulling a few more strings, so all of the suspicion would point towards Bernard and his society.
A great option, of course, would be to also dispose of Bonnie and leave her body at Pierre's base in anticipation of a later
Once the
discovery.
Phantom expanded their search, it would only be a matter of time before they found Pierre's base. If a cat last seen with the suspect turned up dead at the imitation synth base, it wouldn't be long until the Phantom would figure out exactly how she had been mistreated and turn their eyes towards the one organization that has been sending boatloads of animals out of Fontaine.
Yep. However, something unexpected happened at the base. Bonnie managed to escape in the
Probably
chaos.
during your ambush of Pierre. You didn't even have the time to check if she had already been stuffed full of imitation synth.
Yep. And that's why she didn't trust you.
Still, you soon found another opportunity.
Before long, Bonnie had made her way back into the city, and even popped up on the Steam Nerd. Like Bernard, you desperately wanted to confirm the contents of her stomach, so you hurried to find us. Unlike Bernard, however, you were hoping that Pierre did have the time to make her swallow a load of imitation synth.
Me too.
While investigating the suspect's cat, we unexpectedly discovered that the suspect has been smuggling imitation synth using living animals as intermediaries. That was your plan, in any case. With that, you'd have been able to lead the investigation towards the Humane Society.
But you were
Bonnie
extremely
had managed to
unlucky.
escape before Pierre was able to stuff her full of imitation synth. That part of your plan could no longer be carried out. But as shrewd as you were, you came up with another plan right away. You manipulated the Traveler and I to help you identify Bernard as a key suspect.
That was probably your first mistake right there. You knew Linny was investigating the case with Sharath, and you also knew of Lynette's previous encounter, the Lefevre family.
You used the Lefevre name as bait to get us to join your investigation. With 2 extra bodies around, the Special Patrol is sure to soon take note of the strange event of Bernard somehow having a reason to look for Pierre's cat.
So, what you're saying is, I went to all that trouble just for the chance that you might put forth the suggestion that would lead you down the wrong path.
Of course, you did far more than that. Just now at Lumidus Harbor, were you not the person who highlighted the suspicious activities of the Society?
Yep.
You even highlighted the Society's activities during your compilation of the logs, so they'd be immediately visible to anyone examining the records.
We don't normally track those.
Moreover, the logs contained no records of the Port Authority's activities. In other words, your activity.
And what are you trying to suggest with that?
I am insinuating that you had plenty of opportunities to transfer the raw materials for imitation synth from the harbor to a boat, and then sail over to the meeting place full of floating barrels.
Once Bernard had placed the animals in the barrels, you'd open the lids and also dump in the new raw materials. As long as you did it before Pierre came for his pickup, there'd be no one wiser.
Neither the trafficker nor the manufacturer knew there was a third person who supplied the raw materials, and surreptitiously operated between them.
First you got in touch with both parties and secured the raw materials, then you instructed Bernard to prepare the floating barrels and the animals. After that, you slipped the raw materials into the barrels next to the animals, and requested that Pierre pick up the barrels and bring them back to his base.
Pierre manufactured imitation synth using the raw materials you provided, stuffed the animals, and placed the animals back into the barrels. Having received the green light from you as Pierre, Bernard then retrieved his animals and shipped them out of Fontaine once he had received enough for a full batch.
I can't believe it. I never put 2 and 2 together.
That's why you were picked.
So what do you think she's going to say next?
Ever thought about a career in writing crime novels? Ah, she's probably going to ask, but do you have any evidence?
But do you have any evidence?
Yeah.
It appears that it's quite easy to predict what you'll think or say. Then if we apply that to this case, we can also think of a few places to look for incriminating evidence. You know very well that this case will not end until Pierre is found. So you will have him commit suicide out of fear and shame to end the investigation for good. That way, you can also pin the blame for the overseas smuggling activities, the theft of the harbor's confiscated raw materials, and even the Lefevre name on him. But you still want it to appear as if he had sent that last letter to Bernard, so you have to make sure he cannot be found until after Bernard has confessed to the authorities.
Yep.
To do that, you either will hide his body until you found an appropriate time to set up a fake suicide scene, or you'll dump it someplace where it'll be hard to determine the exact time of death. Submerged in water, for instance.
Yep.
The location would ideally allow you to keep the body hidden for some time while also letting you keep an eye on it.
Which one do you think? You could also keep him in a very cool environment to be handled later. Oliver, what's up, honey? Or set a fire to make it look like you had burned him to a crisp. And the water's near Lumidus.
There are so many options to hide a person's time of death, after all. As long as the Phantom investigates each of the possibilities in turn, they'll surely find Pierre's remains. Especially since, as the prime suspect who will now be taken into custody, you will no longer have the time to move him or set up a fake suicide scene to cover up the murder.
Thank you, Oliver. You're very sweet.
How absurd. And on what grounds will you order my arrest? Don't think for a second that your spouts of nonsense will amount to any kind of real argument.
Elodie Lefebvre!
Yes.
As the captain of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol, I hereby declare you as a suspect in the case. If you have any objections, you may raise them later during interrogation.
That's right. We received a message from Lumidus Harbor that you were going to investigate the Humane Society. We didn't expect to run into you at such a critical moment.
I know, I hear you. I'm not going to pull for Ito because I'm trying to go for constellations.
While at the harbor, we noticed something else extremely interesting. Apparently, you often used all kinds of excuses to
Look
swap
at
your
that.
shifts. And if one were to match the times of your shifts to the activities of the Humane Society and those of...
That's just a coincidence.
Sure it
Yes,
is.
I'm sure you have already thought of a dozen different ways to explain away the suspicious activities. But as far as evidence goes, that should be enough to warrant taking you into custody.
Don't worry. If it turns out that the guards are still unable to find any evidence after all this, Lynette and I will do everything in our power to clear your name.
Although judging by her reaction, I assume no follow-up from us will be needed.
The Lefebvres were infamous for using disguise and infiltration to achieve their goals. Who would have thought that they would have planted someone within the guards?
Everybody would have thought.
Judging from the timeline, they likely arranged for you to enter the guards before the fall of the clan.
Okay.
Not only that,
Let's hurry this along a little
actively
bit.
participated in the interrogation
I want to get
arrest
into
and
Zero's
judgment of the
teapot.
Lefebvres during their fall, thus clearing yourself of suspicion.
Yep.
Brutally and cruelly abandoned your allies as soon as they outlived their usefulness. Just like a lizard cutting off its own tail in order to live. You've been doing this for years.
So you...
Uh-oh. You have a fun mini game? Oh, that's awesome. I'm hurrying.
They were worthless scum. All
course.
of them. Not just, I lost all my chances of I had to live in constant fear of them while they
Yes.
were alive. Do you know anything about what I've...
There's a hint of drama in the voice of the suddenly agitated Lode. It feels like her anger may be part of some kind of
I
bluff.
don't, and neither do I care.
Are you...
Elodie, you're the only one still living under the shadow of a name.
Truth.
That's enough. Keep your hands where I can see them and do not resist arrest. If you have more to say, save it for the
Okay.
interrogation room.
That sounds fun.
What a joke. What a joke!
Uh-oh.
Hey!
Ooh!
Don't come any closer.
She's hiding explosives.
What's that?
This device seems a bit odd. The small device. Very crude, as if it's made from paper mache. Paper mache?
Know what this is?
Okay, I'll do that.
I've secretly planted loads, whether they're cats, dogs, or just unlucky human employees. Surely, you bunch of goody two-shoes won't let that happen, right?
That's paper mache. Surrender, intimidate, help Shavas to intimidate Lode. Launch a sneak attack on Lode while she's distracted. Let's try to assist Linny. I'm going to assist Linny. Okay. What do we get? Ooh! Yes. We get to assist Lenny.
I can understand how you feel. Like you, we are also victims of the Lefebvre clan. But if you were to endanger innocence now for your own gain, the public anger towards the Lefebvres would only rise to a boil, and the families of the new victims would be dead set on exacting revenge on you.
And what of it?
I'll be your hostage, Elodie.
What?
Thanks for your concern, Traveler. But we need to end all of the hate and violence arising from this clan once and for all. I'll raise my hands and come over slowly. I promise that I'm completely unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
You. Don't think for a second you can pull fast.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Just keep your eyes on me. Don't look away.
Lode fixates her gaze on Lenny. The trick is done. That's right.
Phew. So I was right after all. It's easier to deal with the person causing the problem.
Paper
This
mache.
isn't. Looks like it's...
Guess that's probably why she suddenly flipped and knocked out Bernard. He probably knew that there were no explosives at the society.
She also pretended like she had a villainous
She never
breakdown.
even showed her face to Bernard and Pierre. I had my doubts that she'd have gone to the society in person to plant explosives.
Thank you for your
Right.
help, everyone. I'll take them back for thorough questioning and find someone better to take over the Humane Society. I might need a few statements from everybody.
If statements are all you need, I still need to go back and explain some things to the crew. I also had an appointment with the Traveler before we got interrupted.
Tea. You mean then you said I could stop by your place?
Ah, so you do remember. Yes, I invited you to come over to our place.
I'm not gonna do another perception tech
Once
thing.
I'm done
That's
talking
fine.
with the troop, I'll make a nice cup of tea and bring Bonnie to wait.
That's right, Bonnie.
You must have spent a record-breaking amount of time in Syria. Based on information that we found before, I'd assume that the first offerings of imitation synth came from what Pierre made in his early days. But since he was not experienced with Elodie, saw the opportunity to make a great profit in his work, and perhaps even the chance of making a new life for herself. So she decided to cover his tracks. She started writing to him in Bernard's name, using what evidence she had. Unfortunately for her, she ran into Lynette. Even though my sister doesn't like to focus too much on a regular day, serious mode Lynette is one of the most perceptive people I've ever known. Still, all of that thinking really saps her energy. I need to go give some statements on her behalf, so I'll leave the recharging to you.
Alright, we're gonna skip through this
You can
quickly.
leave the rest of this to me.
There's
The
still a
other
few things I'm curious about.
would usually just
Yep.
seize them for given that the foreign merchants who sent in we will of course continue to
Cool, cool, cool. It's always good to like reach in and talk to those people because you never know if that's going to get you a hidden achievement. Alright, shh, 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 shh. Yes, we know. Yeah, this will be faster. Yay!
Want some? Mm-hmm. I hope you'll like it. Not at all. Information is indeed. Plus, if you just think about it, what sounds more fun? Great
Tea
answer.
party!
Had we not run into that case, we could have spent the entire day like this. But now, I'm running low on both time and energy. You're right. I can sense it.
From the
Something about her
beginning.
rubbed me
She's a
the
little
wrong
weird.
way Since the very beginning. But to be more precise, it was probably around the time when I saw Bonnie try to get away from her.
Yep.
Elodie tried to get close, but Bonnie deliberately dodged her. Maybe Bonnie had tried to evade her before at Pierre's base.
Thanks for hanging out!
Not everyone who likes cats is a human Sento. She took a liking to you.
That's right, Bonnie. We get our picture. There it is. There's the achievement too. Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna go check out Zero's place if he's still around. Where's R3? Request to visit Teapot. Ooh. Fun. Alright, let's, Alright, I won't look too much. Okay. I only briefly looked, and then I saw that there was characters listed, and so I closed it. The only one I could fully identify in my head, the only one was I think Shelton. It's hard because it's up on the mini map. So I'm going to try to on. Let's move camera. Okay. So now I can't see the mini-map. Ooh, this is awesome! It's Xiao. Hi, Xiao. Oh, he's standing with the Zhongli statue. How perfect. Ooh. Oh, off, there you go. Ooh. There's Kazuha up top. No, sir, thank you. Alright, hold on. Is that you, Zero? Oh, that's Zero up there. Okay. Oh, I like the fontaine. I didn't even see this guy from the thing. I didn't think to look up. I like that. That's awesome. That's fun. That's so cool. So far we have Xiao and Zhongli. That's cool. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, it's a little secret space. Neat. It's where you put your garden. That's so cool. Hey, Albedo. Oh, who we have up here? Nikita, of course. She would want to be in the forest. Okay. I think I went around that side, so I'm going to go around this side. I really like this. This is really cool. It's like a little secret garden. I love it. That's fun. Okay. I love the currents. They're so fun. So we had Albedo, Xiao, Zhongli, Nikita. Okay. Cool. I feel like I didn't look back up over it this way. Let's try to get an overview. Your little fishy pond. Let's take the top view. I gotcha. Nuvi, what's up? Peter looks so short up against him. And doesn't this rise, this pedestal thing? Yep. I love that. Sup, noob? Alright, okay, here's the other channel. So far we've found 5. Wish they would let us play in this, because it looks like so much fun. If we come out of the top of the stream, we can jump free. I'm a duck in water. I gotta find it. Alright, so now we have a town. We gotta find people. We should have 3 more to find, right? Nice. New event. Love it. Got some fun Mondstadt houses. Ooh. This is like the little bathhouse, right? I like that. That's cute. Hello, Cloud Retainer. So we need 2 more. We've got Raiden. It's Puppy. You want to play Puppy? Come on. You got to play with your dog. That's right. I love it when he'll come back up to you and he turns around and he wags his tail. Come on, fight. Oh, I love it, Zero. It looks great. I like that she's contemplating her own float. I didn't quite get the resemblance right. Awesome. Is this one of the newer stages? I don't know if I have this one up. Is this the new Lantern Rite stage? I have a different one in my teapot. Love it. Ooh, let go. Ah. I love it. I love this one from the Bennett event. That was great. When we came to Fontaine, it's like, I met this great adventurer. Gotta have pop. Awesome. It's super cool, Zero. I love it. Let's see, we had Zhongli Albedo. You had Nahida, Nuvalet. You've got Raiden, Cloud Retainer, Gaming. I feel like I'm missing somebody. I hear ya. I hear ya. I was like fighting for achievements, so when we got Sumeru, I just kind of like dumped. And then I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to make some sense of things. Ooh, time trials are fun. I set them up, but they're so heavy that you can't really do much. You know, you have to make it about the time trial. So then I ended up taking it out of my teapot. Very cool. Love it. Awesome work. Very, very awesome. I need to get back to my Fontaine teapot and like kind of figure out where I want to go with that too. Because like, I don't know, I kind of wanted to do an outdoor library, but at the time we didn't have any bookcases. Now this last event has given me outdoor bookcases. So I might have to revisit that. So I've got a statue garden kind of working into place on my second island. But I haven't really thought about much what to do with my my mansion area. So yeah, but it would be a really good space for a time trial, or even one of the balloon pop ones. So you at least get some really nice clean light and height here. Very awesome. Thanks for letting me come by and hang out. I'm gonna pop over to my world and sign off for this stream, Mr. Zero. Thank you again. This is really cool. Yeah, feel free to ever, if you need, to buy stuff from my traveling teapot guy. My teapot's always open to everybody, so that's friended me. Thank you. And it's so relaxing in the Fontaine teapot. I need to set up and revisit all of the little records that I have. Alright everybody, this has been a wonderfully fun, gentle stream today. I'm really glad that my cousin got to come and enjoy Lynette's hangout, and I'm glad everybody came and visited with us. The Raiden's Electro, the forest was there because of the overload of the Dendro, because of the Nahida, and the first area was terraformed for... yeah, no, it totally reads like that. I really appreciated it. I love the forest, because that's why I got up there. I was like, oh, of course Nahida's here. This makes perfect sense for her. And of course Albedo would be wanting to deal with the plants, since he's an alchemist. So yeah, you totally nailed all of the connections there, and I appreciated it. But yeah, today was a really fun stream. We got to look at Zero's teapot, which was really cool. I'm always interested in looking at people's teapots, so, you know, feel free to send me an invite. I had a blast today, guys. I hope it was a relaxing and enjoyable time for everyone else. Thanks for hanging out and staying with us, and I appreciate all of you. Much love. This is Violet at Play to Own, and I will see you guys tomorrow for a fun Friday Honkai Star Rail stream. So, stay tuned.
Of this world.